and I'll try to cover the remainder of the round number 9 of the Chess Budapest Olympiad. And of course, we're going to give special attention to Magnus Carlsen and Vladimir Fedoseev. I know that many of you are thrilled seeing them play. And not just that, we got a very many excellent games taking place right now. And we're going to be perusing. No software involved in our human-friendly analysis. Of course, at some point, if we need to clarify some aspects, we definitely are going to just double check with the engine if we were correct about some opinions and some of their choices. Hello, Simpson. Hello, my friend. How's it going? How's it going nowadays? Still summer temperature. We've got like 23 degrees Celsius here in London. They issued some warnings about a yellow warning of thunderstorms. Areas affected: London, Southeast England. If you're in Edinburgh, probably you don't have problem with that, right? If you're in Scotland. Apparently tomorrow gonna be also some storm and thunderstorm. Oh, and I plan to actually do a little bit of cycling tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll be adapting. We'll be adapting. All right, there we go. So what do you think Black intends to do? By the looks of it, Rook wants to take the pawn here. Rook takes f5. That's what the Black Rook want to do, right? Is there any other reason? If they wanted to push the pawn on h3, they would have done it already. 13 in Aberdeen. Okay, now that's a bit of a difference. Not a big problem, but it's a bit of 13 in Aberdeen. Okay. 23 in London now. That's a pretty much a gap there. Temperature gap. Yeah, that's the weather. That's what it is. It's quite nice and pretty much summer, I feel like. I mean, for the time being at least. Right, so we're saying that if they really wanted to push this pawn and make a little bit of a disruption here, he would have done it already, but he didn't. He only played rook h5. Probably he wants to take this pawn. Now, how exactly you meant to defend this? I mean, can you defend it or you go for counterplay? Well, that's the question, right? Also weird, blood. Can you do king, I wonder? So that's Magnus Carlsen, by the way, with white's play here, my friends. So now I'm just investigating as a limited human mind that I am. I'm thinking about some king to e4, just defending this pawn, opening up the rook. And I guess this one, yeah, you sort of have to pay attention to this move, but you mustn't lose the pawn on f5, if I'm correct, right? So is king e4 the answer to this question that Vladimir Fedoseev put to Magnus? Let me know, guys. How would you deal with this? King e4, right? Maybe. Maybe. Okay, shall we look at Nordibek? And hey, we got so many good games today, Simpson. We've got Nordibek Gukesh. I mean, what's not to like about this one? We got Richard Rapport, Fabi Caruana, and we got Pete Teleko, Wesley So. What is not to like about this round number 9? Really, there's just too many good games, if I may say that. And again, the biggest regret is that you cannot, as a single podcast, to just cover all these beautiful games. You can't. You just need to being selective, unfortunately, because I would have just covered every single one of them because they absolutely deserve it and they do awesome chess. So Gukesh is white here. What a team, the Indian team. What a team. So what are you supposed to be playing with the white pieces? Time is pretty much equal, but what a clash. 31 minutes for Gukesh, 36 for Nordibek. Oh, Simpson, is the sound okay, I guess, right? I haven't checked on my Facebook platform, but I think it should be okay. I hope it's okay. Cool. Moving. What is Gukesh going to play? Hey, what's this bishop here? It's not active enough. Should we consider perhaps knight d5? I wonder. Knight takes, pawn takes. Um, well, no, you can't do that, can you? No, you have to. What? Okay, so white plays. If you want to take, you take with the bishop, though. It's something with the knight d5. I mean, you play knight d5 with white because you want to play b6, for instance. Thank you very much for confirmation, my dear friend. So I think knight d5, knight b6 would be probably an intention here, and I think it's quite playable, this knight d5 thing. Knight d5. Yeah, I think it's doable. You kind of forcing black to either defend or to trade. And you might be hoping that if they take with a bishop, you take back, maybe your own bishop gets to actually do something at some point. But you need to take care of the backward black pawn here on d6, which is easier said than done. Okay, not a very easy position, but of course it's not. So knight d5, right? Bishop takes. What do you take with? Of course, pawn. Oh, it's an idea. I don't know what else white can do here. I absolutely hate to do f4 in this kind of position because it weakens all the dark squares leading to the king. So I don't think f4 is very beneficial stuff to do. Just saying what's the good stuff and what's the dubious, undoable thing, to my understanding at least. Pragnananda, of course, so many good games. So many. Way too many good games in this Budapest Olympiad. So what have we gotten here? Fabian Richard Report. Another spectacular game. Whose turn is it? Black's turn to play. Right. This one is a bit of a backward pawn here. This one, Simpson, the d3. This is a weakness for white, so to speak. Especially if you want to look at the battery here with the queen and the rook. So that might be a bit of a target for Richard Report, I guess. As soon as the black knight goes somewhere. And of course, we can debate on that one. But it's an idea. So that's a weakness for black. I don't know. Knight f6, knight f8, which one is it? If you go knight f8, if you relaunch, you still can't go to many places, I guess. So maybe knight f6 just to move things out of the rook and queen battery. But maybe you want to push this guy, though, at some point. I don't know how. Maybe you want to play knight. So that you're not blocking the f-pawn when they be moving down. I don't know in what move order and when, but anyway. I guess knight will be played at some point. The black knight on d7 should be played so that you enact the battery here. It's a weakness for white. We have to admit it. It's a weakness for white. On the other hand, if black chooses to move the knight, as we highlighted with green paint here, you might need then after queen b3, which is a very serious threat, you may need to play again defensive ideas. So what do? You play the queen to c7, you move the knight back, which means that you're completely wasting your time moving this guy back and forth. So it's a very complex position here. Let's go to Peter Lecker Wesley So, my dear chess friends. Let's look at this one, my dear friends. G3 being played. I don't think that's about. Well, it looks okay. This one is a backward pawn. This one is a backward pawn. Rook attacks it now. Well, currently is defended indeed, but... And also I think it stops knight c7, right? Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Wesley played rook ac8. Should you push the A? Push, 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 and push? Is that a problem with this thing? I don't know. Is it a draw? Well, it's double pawn on the B. How do you have access to attacking those guys? Because knight to d6 doesn't really work here. Hey, don't neglect the dogs. Dogs, very important little guys. Totally. Totally, my friend. See you later. Take care. Okay. Right. So knight to d6. No, it's not good because Black Knight takes and you take, and this guy will be isolated and very, very attackable from all directions. So I think he should be discarded, this thing. Knight d6. I don't think that works. So White's not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So let me just erase it because that's a bad move. No, that's a mouse slip. Of course, he didn't play that, and he won't play Peter Lecker, one of your favorite streamers. He's not going to play Knight to d6 for sure. Okay, what are the marvelous games here? Okay, let's see the current World Chess Champion, Ding Liren, and let's see how he plays. What's going on here? I mean, he really needs to do something. 28 minutes for Max Sudler and 32 for Ding. Okay, Black's turn to play. If they capture, you're not going to take with the pawn because you're creating a pass pawn, so to speak. That's very dangerous stuff. So if knight were to take, you're going to take back with the rook, I would assume. But when you take with the rook, do you know what's interesting? I wonder if black will be tempted to pushing this pawn. So that would be attacking the rook that you just took with. And you're going back, and actually, bloody, you cannot because the queen pins the whole thing. So unfortunately, after knight takes c4, you're sort of forced to take with a pawn, right? Because the knight is a disaster, if I understand this one correctly. So knight takes c4. How do you take back? Do you play an in-between move? I don't think you play any in-between move. Like knight b6, not now. And by the way, this is a little bit of pin there. So that doesn't work. So knight takes e4, you're going to take with a pawn. You have to do this, right? And queen has to go. So knight e4 makes a lot of sense. Then d3 takes e4, attacking the queen. You took back the knight and you attack the queen. The queen has to go wherever the queen has to go. I don't know, back rank, e6. Where does it go? Probably back rank. And Magnus Vladimir Fedoseev. What do the guys do here? Let's watch them. Hey, king e4. Yes. I mean, not that white had very, very, very many options, right? King to e4. So you defend with the king, open up the rook, bishop a bit active, and you might be dreaming about some knight incursions in your opponent's half territory. Good. Let's see. This one doesn't really work, h3, because I guess you just push the pawn g4, attack the rook, defend the pawn. It's not going to work. So this one doesn't really it's not very promising here. It doesn't do anything for black. And even if you try to do this, I guess they could just play. White can just play a3. What exactly are you going to do with the knight? You don't have no future with the knight on b4. You need some help from some other pieces. So knight b4, then a3, then you're going to have to go back. Really, nothing happens. So Vladimir Fedoseev, he needs to come up with a plan. And also the black rook doesn't seem to be incredibly optimistic now. I'm not sure what you're doing with that rook now. He did choose to play rook g5, which at least attacks something. You know, it does. So how do you defend? You're going to play g3? If you play g4, there is always en passant. But you could take back, I guess. Huh. Now that's a very good question. 39 minutes for Fedoseev. And let's say 19 minutes for Magnus here. Would you play g3 or would you play g4? So if you do g4, you must consider en passant takes, and then you take back. Probably with the pawn. If you play g3, they might take or not. You don't know. But g4 is kind of a cool move because I think forces black to take. If black doesn't take, I think they'd be running into this issue here with the bishop h4, and I'm not sure about the rook anymore. So definitely g4 forces black to take en passant. Then I'm going to take with a pawn. So g4, h takes, pawn takes, and ideally, if given a chance, you might be able to just try this idea. So I'm not sure if that's the best route for the rook, but it's an idea at least. Okay. Okay, okay. Oh, I got scared. I thought it's Johann Sebastian Bach. It's Christiansen, Johann Sebastian. Oh, Rook G1. Really? Rook G1. Like this ones were terribly, terribly big blunders, I guess, eh? G3 or G4. If Magnus, arguably the best player in the chess history, goes for Rook G1, I don't know. I have to learn from this. Okay, what does that do just in practical terms here? It just defends the G2. Hello, Aleppo. Thank you very much for stopping by, my friend. I'm just trying to discuss very friendly and very informally with all of our friends out there. It's a public stream open to all chess enthusiasts, all levels welcome, and I'm more than happy to learning from everybody else. And the little knowledge I might have, I am more than happy to impart and to share what I understand with everybody else. That's how it works in chess, and that's how it should work in pretty much all aspects of our societal life, and that's how it should be in all chapters and aspects of our lives, sharing. So, rook d to g, defending g2, right? And if the h4 goes down, obviously you can't take because you pinned, but I guess you can just shut off the whole thing. Then you're going to play g4, and that's about it. But I feel a little bit insufficient. I don't know. I'm just feeling, guys, that this rook g1, it just feels a little bit painful. I wonder if it's really the only choice that white might have. What do you think, Aleppo Gambit? Do you think rook g1 is the only way to tackle this rook g5 threat black just played here? Do you think g3 or g4 are completely horrible? Or massive blunders? I'm going to do something. I'm going to really check and verify this line with the software because I just want to know really if rook g1 is the absolute only move white can consider. I'm seriously thinking maybe g3, g4 could be. Look, I would be very happy if it's at least second or third line of the software. Let me see. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Absolutely yes. I wasn't talking gibberish nonsense. Of course, both G3 and G4, the Almighty says, yep, it should have. So when I was very friendly discussing this, I was really surprised by Magnus's choice. Again, he's arguably the best chess player in history, but for my very average understanding and stuff, really G3, G4 came to my mind as very natural responses here. G4 actually forces black to take en passant. Because look at this one, Aleppo. If you do G4, you actually threaten to play Bishop H4 and you attack the rook and the rook is goodbye. So G4 forces black to take, and then you could take back with a pawn. And then I think it's pretty cool. It's good. Rook G1, on the other hand, seems to be unnecessary in terms that it's just excessively defensive, and that rook would have been super happy to stay on an open file. D is an open file. I'm not saying rook G1 loses all of a sudden, but it just feels like you really don't want to give up on your beautiful open files. Okay, naturally G6, because rook G5 wasn't just attacking. Yeah, bishop takes H4 was about to happen anyway. So now rook must move, unless, my friends, you play with tempo first. G6 takes F5. Exactly, Aleppo. That's a very interesting detail, my friend. Yes. So G6 takes F5 captures with tempo. So there you go, of course. So you don't need to panic excessively. If you got a Schwitzenzug move, go with that one. G6 takes F5. King now is in a must move situation. You've got to go E3, I suspect, right? Or if you're no, that's a disaster. I apologize. Look at this, guys. Ay, 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 ay. Magnus actually goes for the kill. He said, I'm not playing defensive. I ain't gonna do that today. I'm going into attack because Magnus is that kind of player that he totally wants to attack with whatever he has. So he gonna go king e6 and go for whatever he can grab. Given the fact the rook now has to move and they could go bloody 3 available squares for the rook. 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3. I can't consider rook g7 because rook g7 blocks the bishop, and you may want to, at some point, maybe you want to get the bishop on h6 perhaps. So yeah, rook has to go. And when the rook goes, I guess very likely Magnus is going to play. Yeah, so he went rook g6. I did say this, this, or this. King e6, I did say this idea as well. This stuff just simply attacks. He attacks with the king. So the mental habit we have to develop as practitioners of this beautiful art and game is that we need to remind ourselves to attack with everything we got, including the king when the time comes. So the king itself, I'm watching this game and I'm in total admiration here, and I'm watching how Magnus ventured with the white king, which started on e1, and now the white king is on e6. Can you actually believe that? My friends, my dear friends. Thank you, my TikTok friends that uh, stopped watching the stream together with us. I'm multi-streaming, guys, so I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick.com. I think 5 destinations. Hell, if I renew the subscription with that software, I might be getting one more destination. You know. So, it's unbelievable. The king itself is an attacking piece. We need to make this a habit. And the king now, let's highlight for, again, because it's just very nice to show all these ideas. The king attacks the pawn and the square. And it's something. But there is something here. The big question. I'm going to highlight 2 candidate moves. You take on f5, thus stacking the rook. Does that work as a compensation for you losing the g1 rook, I wonder? Or if you play king f5, black's going to play rook g5, checking you, and then you have to take the rook with the bishop, and then they take. Because I've got a feeling... Yeah, not mentioning Aleppo. Brilliant, my friend. Bingo. Not mentioning there is the annoying knight that might be playing stuff. I don't even know which one is the most aggressive, but there is quite a few choices here for black after king takes f5. So I'm really not sure. So that, you know something, Aleppo, that move Magnus played, rook g1, really doesn't feel like very, very, very the strongest one that, and obviously the software actually showed that was not the best move. And it's just a weird choice, especially now if you're looking at the bishop hitting the rook. So really, I don't know what Magnus is going to come up with. I'm really curious. And make no mistake, Vladimir Fedoseev is a guy that just simply wants to win. And so this guy just want to win against whoever he plays. He has no problem to beating up Magnus or anything. So he goes for the kill, this guy too. I don't know what white's supposed to play. Let's show that if white chooses to go with the rook, I don't know where. Let's say d1. Just give an example. There is at least this idea, if not others, that I didn't even consider. Check. Defending this, then taking. So if you do rook d1, actually black can play check first, defending f5. So if moving rook out of the bishop's diagonal, black can just very well go with a check, attacking the white king and defending f5. Therefore, you gotta waste the tempo. But there is a problem then with this particular move, which I don't know. Okay, there's just... You would say getting simpler, but it's not simple anything. You know, sometimes you got a feeling, Or you would say that as you go towards the end of the game, things become less and less complicated. But I think the experience shows that it's just a ton of things to calculate right up until the very end, probably. I mean, this is just by no means this is not an easy end game, and all sorts of crazy stuff can still take place, and it's very time consuming. Taking the correct move, deciding to play the correct stuff is very time consuming. There's no wonder that Magnus actually has like 14 minutes. Well, we wouldn't expect less from him, so I mean, he's definitely going to deliver whatever the best can be played in this position. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna do something worthy of the best analysis. Shall we go back, my friends, to Nordibek and Gukesh? Again, there is so many good games taking place right now that I've got a very honest regret that I cannot cover all the games that I would like to. Hey guys, I think I'm at least one day, because I'm also working in that period. I'm working. There is the Tech Mahindra something in London, in which Magnus comes and Vishy and I think on the 6th of October I am going to be there. I don't know if you're in London or not, or if you. So I'm gonna do a little bit of recording in the public cafe, and of course I was told I can't film or stream live in the auditorium where the players are doing their chess stuff. So Prague is coming, Magnus coming, Jan Pomnishi, and others. So I think 6th of October I'll buy those tickets. I'll buy the tickets for the daily pass. Hell, I would buy for all the days, but I'm doing some chess clubs and I have some work commitments, so I can't just be every single day. Unfortunately, you can't do them all. You can't do two things in two different places, can you? Right. So yeah, 6th of October, I think I would be able to just take a few pictures, take a few images, maybe live streaming. Maybe if I got a chance to meeting Vishy or Magnus quickly, maybe I'm going to ask for an autograph if I'm lucky enough to be in their proximity. Right, Rook A1 here. It's always good to get the rook on open file, right? But now the knight places double attack on the b4 pawn. Hey, Aleppo, thank you very much, my friend. If you have some time, cheers a lot, brother. If you have some time, let's play a correspondence game, because I always play a chess game with my dear friends, with my dear subscribers. So on chess.com or Chess, you could just send me a friend request. I'll accept it, and then we're gonna launch a very friendly correspondence game. So that's gonna be absolutely my pleasure. Totally. Okay. So the knight on c6 attacks twice on b4, right? What are you supposed to be doing in this position now? Would you be able to... Well, there is actually a couple of things. Can you push the pawn? Can Gukesh push the pawn? Well, that's an attacking move, right? And the bishop defends it, and knight has to move. That's for sure. Knight must move. I don't think it's a bad idea. Well, you're welcome, and thank you too, Aleppo. Appreciate. Yeah. So guys, yeah, please do send me the friend request, guys, on Chess and chess.com. Or whatever, or both platforms. Frankly, I'm using them both. It's like, especially when I'm commuting in between the clubs, I'm playing like a couple of games a day at least, right? So yesterday I was in a park in West London, and I commuted in between two clubs, and boy, I struggled to put the live stream on with the Streamlabs and software and a restream. It was pretty messy, and it's very glitchy and stuff, and I'm not sure there was a great stuff. But anyway, so I'm doing a lot of blitzes on both Chess and chess.com. So it's just knight d5 is a great stuff. because attacks the queen. Now the bishop takes, and when you take back with a pawn, I guess knight would have captured on b4 Aleppo, I suppose. So I think for this reason, Gukesh didn't play knight d5. Let's just do it again. So knight d5 attacks the queen. Cool. Not a bad idea in principle, but bishop captures, right? If you take with a pawn, there is knight to b4 here. So it's just something which I'm not incredibly convinced. Although, I'm still not sure about it. Knight to c2, though, what I like about this move, by the way, guys, and Aleppo and Simpson, if you're still there, the pawn on b is a pass pawn. This b4 y pawn is supported by the knight and by the queen, right? So this is a pass pawn. Black doesn't have any pass pawn. Nordibek doesn't. White does have this guy here. And this guy is going to go forward. I don't know when and how, but it is going to go forward because this is key for white. I think it's absolutely super important, this guy on b4, the y pawn on b4, my friends. Very important. Hey, Temi. Good to see you, my TikTok friend. Well, apparently he doesn't play. I mean, I guess if he asks the US team, I don't think anyone would dare denying him. I guess I don't know what arrangements they have. I gotta tell you, Temi, I don't know. Of course, I guess he could just play if he asks them, but maybe he wants to do the stream or I don't know. Right, so this is a very, very good game to watch indeed. Nordibek and Gukesh, two super grandmasters, young and potential world champions. So these guys really are incredibly promising. Shall we look briefly again to Caruana and Rapport? Hey, I did mention about the fact that we will be having a battery on the B file. I did say it, I think, right in the very opening of the stream. And I did say that the knight will definitely be moving from d7, and I did indicate f6. So now it is black's turn to play. b6 currently defended twice, so it's relatively okay-ish. But knight and the rook on f5 and the knight on g3, actually this guy's attacked twice here. So black has a bit of an issue. Issue being that this guy can be captured, right? You guys tell me if you think I'm wrong with something. I think the h5 is sort of hanging. And now the question would be if white actually takes on h5 with the knight or with the rook. Which one would you take with? Well, you can't take with the rook, I apologize, because there is a knight on f6, but you could definitely take with the knight. Knight takes a pawn, knight takes, rook takes. And then I guess rook h6. And then you take and then queen takes. Complicated. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Also, guys, notice that the queen on b1 defends d3. So you gotta be careful when you're maneuvering stuff around here. It's not easy at all. 25 minutes though for Fabi. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be finding something. So it is very important for white. So I don't know what Fabi gonna play next, but what I do know is that it's incredibly important for white to preserve the d3 y pawn. You can't allow the black queen to take it for billion reasons. Well, not billion, but what I want to say for very many reasons. You can't allow queen taking on d3. So you got to keep your queen, whatever. You have to keep the queen in touch with the pawn on d3. So I'm not sure. Is this going to be a draw? Is Fabi going to try something? And if he does, I'm incredibly curious what exactly. And now, if you allow me, guys, I'm going to go Peter Lecco, one of your favorite streamers and strong grandmaster and commentator, against Wesley So. And Peter Lecco with a white piece is, of course, playing for Hungary, his national team. Beautiful. A4 being played. And I think I did say that one too when I was like 20 minutes ago or something. I did say about I didn't have any other idea apart from pushing the A pawn. I didn't know what else is to be played here. Double pawns here. If white manages to open the A, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a rook right here. attacking the b7 where the black king is, and good stuff for white, so to speak. So I am sure that the idea would be, if you allow me, guys, to play one extra move for white. Of course, you won't be able to do that, but just saying, I guess white's plan is pushing, and if they capture, you're going to take with the rook, and eventually you're going to play rook a7 attacking this guy and forcing black to play defensive, probably rook b8. I don't know, but you definitely, most definitely have to defend against rook takes b7. So if you wonder why the a pawn had been pushed, it's precisely because of this idea. If you think, guys, I'm wrong, please feel free to tell me what adjustments need to be made and things. And I'm happy to revise everything I've said. I might be wrong, of course. There's so many good games. It's just too many good games. And yeah, I always like sigh and I have a small regret because I can't cover them all. There's too many good games happening in Budapest. It's fabulous competition and too much good stuff. Okay. Dingley ran white here. What is going on? 336. I'm counting the material now. 336. Three minor pieces, two rooks. Okay, materially, I think it's cool. Whose turn is it? Black's turn. Okay. Well, if black captures, you're going to take back with this pawn, right? Then what else is here? Well, I guess you probably would be able to try this idea, or you're going to go after it, try to prevent black from pushing this pawn down the board. This knight stays very well where they are currently. I'm not sure. It's complicated. It really is complicated. What other tactics are floating here? I'm not sure. Okay, so pawn took, sure. And now you're going to take back, right? Of course you're going to take back. A takes b5. What's here? Okay, A takes b5, sure. What else is here? You know what I like about the b5 white pawn? It doesn't allow the black knight to play. So the black knight on b8 can't actually move towards white and things. If they want to play it, they gotta go. Maxudlo has to play d7 or something. Knight takes. I don't know, maybe. It's weird to having the knight on b8, right? It looks like black suffers from lack of space here. And it looks like somehow Ding managed to take some space from Maxudlo here. And it's quite a blockage with this, guys. The e4 move, which probably would be in principle good for black, but can't really be played in this second. Because black supports the e4 just like twice, and white controls it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So pushing the e4 may not be doable now. It's not working. Counting the attackers and defenders, it doesn't work to push the e4. So I don't know what you're doing. You're getting this guy in action, the knight b8, playing to... If you don't do that, what exactly do you play? I wonder. Really, I mean, what do you play? It's painful to having the knight on b8. You really have to get the stuff in action somehow. You guys tell me if you notice something else. Again, no softwares. It's just raw human understanding and trying to make sense. And I guess you're not going to be upset, guys, if you go to Magnus Carlsen, the one and only, playing here. Vladimir Fedoseev, a very tough game, though. And this was last time. Hey, wait a sec. Yeah, bishop to c5, attacking the rook on g1. And very painful stuff now. You're having to moving the rook on h1? Really? Move number 27, you put the rook back where they started off? Knight now checks the king. I love this move of Vladimir because knight on d4 attacks the king and defends the f5. So you can't even take what you wanted to take. So you have to move the king, right? And question is, he moved it. So there's no point for me predicting something that already happened differently. So king went to d, which means attacks the bishop on c5. So the bishop on c5, you either defended with b6, I don't know, is this the move? Or you move the bishop somewhere safe, but maintaining this diagonal. Because it looks to me there is no point to going back. You gotta put the bishop on b6, I reckon. Although, I'm not sure. What do you do after knight a4? I don't know. Do you play queen? Sorry, guys. Do you play bishop b6? Aleppo, Simpson, what would you do here, guys? And the rest of our friends, really. You guys let me know how would you choose to play here if you were with the black pieces versus no other than Magnus himself. So now the question is, black bishop c5. What do you do with that guy? I guess bishop b6, or I'm not sure. Tough one. Yeah, bishop b4, I guess. That might be an option too. Definitely. Yeah, might we have again queen c4 attacking you one more time? Although I have to say, after bishop b4, I guess white would be very attracted by rook to c1, where, mind you, Aleppo, what the black king is. So rook to c, I think, needs to happen sooner or later. There's also the idea with the... but you gotta be careful with this rook takes g2 if you play bishop f2. I'm not sure. The white king is very strangely but efficiently positioned, because if you throw in a bishop f2, you got some double attack on the d4. What can I say? You might be grabbing a pawn from black, and then who knows, maybe you're gonna push the h, given the fact you have the rook on h1. Do you actually want to keep the rook on h to push this guy? That means the guy means the pawn on h2. Do you want to push that pawn? I think you kind of want to, right? Because, my friends, that is a pass pawn. The h pawn, the white h pawn, is a pass pawn. b6 being played by Vladimir Fedoseev. And white's turn again. What do you play? I don't know. If you want to push the h, you have to move the bishop. And if you move the bishop, like, where exactly you're going to move the bishop? There is no point, I guess, to play bishop g3 because you can't really push the pawn. The rook will take your bishop. So it's not very attractive, the idea, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So that is Magnus Carlsen, Vladimir Fedoseev, guys. 7 minutes? Well, okay. They used to be 8 minutes, now it's 7:50 something, and soon to be even less. What is white going to play? So, bishop f2, rook takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. Is that good? And they might take with a pawn. Actually, no, it doesn't work with a pawn. So again, bishop f2, rook g2, bishop takes, I guess. And let's say bishop takes. Yeah, but then you're going to push h4. And black must stop that pawn. If you don't stop it, queen is coming. Queen is coming and goodbye. So h pawn is actually quite important. The h passed pawn. The only passed pawn in the game currently is h pawn. And look at the white king's position right in the very center of the board. Attacking. Can I believe that? Wonderful. Back to Nodibek and Gukesh. Another spectacular game. Knight c6. Gukesh's turn. 13 minutes he got on the clock. 13 minutes. Are you going to try something about a b5? You've got a bishop and the knight controlling b5. You might be able to attack the queen and also attack the d6 twice with the queen and with the knight. Is it the right thing to do? Or do you reckon perhaps pushing the pawn? I don't know with absolute certainty yet. I don't know. Two candidate moves, my friends. b5 and knight b5. Which one is it? What do you think, Aleppo? Do you think it might be knight to b5? Knight to b5 attacks the queen and attacks d6 twice. And yeah, you kind of like open up the a for the white rook and stuff. Oh no, he went back. Can you believe that? Can you actually believe that? He moved the knight back on c2. It is a bit surprising, just a little bit. I mean, maybe he's right, I don't know. Maybe he's right, but it is a little bit unexpected. Knight c2. Amongst all the attacking ideas, knight c2. Really? Or maybe he was concerned with what? He was concerned with this? He wants to make sure there is no knight to d4. But upon playing knight b5, you sort of stop this one too, because you attack the queen of tempo and you attack d6. So what can I say? Knight c2 is really surprising and unexpected. And I'm going to do, again, something. Rook to b1. Interesting thought you're having, Aleppo. I kind of enjoy the rook, though, on the open file, and I think this guy could have been saved if you really wanted by just simply pushing b5, perhaps? Okay, we'll see. But now I'm going to do something. As you know, guys, I don't use the engine with every single move and stuff, but every now and then, when the situation requires, I really want to know if knight b5 or b5 here were good options for white's play. So I'm going to toggle on the software and then I'm going to turn it off again. So let's see if we got at least the second or the third line, this knight to b5. I agree, Aleppo. I love the pass pawns because that's how you win, but amongst others. But let's see. So here, let me ask is actually if actually that was there you go, Aleppo. Knight b5. So I wasn't horribly off the track. On the contrary, quite the first very line highlighted here. You could see it on the screen. Knight to b5. Knight to b5. I mean, not a huge crushing advantage, but there is something about it. So now toggle off. Again, the thought I had was very decent, but also knight c2 had been suggested here by the same software. So we're not in the wrong. Hey, what's this? Okay. Okay, cool. And okay, Gukesh has taken out the decision. I guess this guy can go here. Okay, it's complicated. Well, this move, knight a7, stops the pawn moving up. So you can't push the pawn. So I think Abdustorov was a little bit concerned about b4 to b5. Thank you, Aleppo. Thanks very much for being with us. I really appreciate you guys being present. Let's see Fabi and Richard report. So I think, Aleppo, frankly, I think this is the best way to watching Super Grandmasters. You do an effort, a very honest effort yourself, or ourselves. We're doing an honest effort. And every now and then, when the position is very complicated and challenging and stuff, there's nothing wrong with consulting the software and see if you actually were in the right or... Good afternoon, Mr. Jack. Good afternoon. Thank you, Oluvatobi. I appreciate very much, my friend, for subscribing. Means a lot to me. Cheers, guys. So, queen to d8, right? Ah, queen to d8. Of course, you probably notice, guys, queen to d8 does very many things. Well, I don't know how many things, but does a few things. What it does, amongst others, it still keeps an eye on the d3, therefore forcing the white queen to defend. For one. Secondly, it defends the b6 in case you want to get this rook someplace else. Like, for instance, making a battery. Rook b7, rook d7. So if you get the rook over here, you're actually having a battery that attacks the d3 big weakness, the backward y pawn, which I did say, I think half an hour ago, I said that d3 is actually the weakness for white, and the Richard report actually going to be focusing on attacking that weakness. Queen on d8 defends b6 twice together with the king, so white battery is a little bit annihilated. And you actually have to figure out how do you reply to queen d7 and how do you defend d3. This is important. You can't afford losing that pawn. You absolutely cannot. So if you play rook b1 to d2, it's a defensive move, and I guess you might be a little bit forced to do that. But we'll see. I think it's fascinating. Fabi to move. Absolutely fascinating. So you could prophylactically, or maybe in anticipation, you might be playing rook d2, but I'm not sure. Maybe you need to play that one when in the minute black decides to form itself a battery. So look what he did. He played the king to g. I wonder why. Is it because he wants to get king to e2? I mean, you think so? In principle, do you think king e2, white king should be on e2? You actually want to get rid of the d3 pawn, Aleppo? Really? Or you're talking about a different game? Yeah. Um, I don't know exactly how to respond to this. The d3 pawn. Yeah, it's a weakness, okay. But if that pawn disappears, the question is who's gonna make firstly a battery on the d file? Because if you get the battery and you claim the d file, it's good for either color. So yeah, I really don't know. Of course you will. Just Jack, I mean, absolutely you are correct on this one. Imagine this sort of, oh, I think the name technically speaking is Alekine's gun. Queen to d, rook to d, and the other rook to d again. So you're going to have triple attacking power onto d3. That's exactly what going to be, probably. So we're going to see an Alekine's gun, right? With rook d7, the other rook to d6, and attacking to d3. I very much suspect not going to be. Okay, we'll see about that. So, my dear friends, let's go Peter Lecco and Wesley So. Those guys were a little bit slow, right? Haven't moved too much. Knight to B. Yeah, they haven't. I guess black really needs to think how to deal with this move. Takes, and then rook a7. That's a good question. Peter Lecco asked, so to speak, Wesley about, and we'll see the response. Ding Liren again, going back to Ding Liren and Maxulo. Knight c4. Nice little outpost here. I like it. And also he controls the d6. I think it's important now. And I don't know, when you feel like you're ready, I think you still need to engineer a little bit of support before you're pushing this guy. I'm not sure when and how. I don't know. Do you want to get rid of the opponent's bishop? Probably you do. Probably. I think Ding wants to simply play knight to d6, forcing black to give up on the bishop. Jack, I don't know. I really hope that he gonna come back to some shape. And yeah, if he can win, that's even greater. So let's look at the pros and the cons, Jack. I think black is enjoying a very strong pawn center. So a very strong pawn center. On the other hand, white has a pass pawn on the b file, for what it's worth. You can't push it now, though, but you can definitely try and get rid of the opponent black bishop with a move like knight d6, forking the two rooks, therefore black must take, and you take. And I think it's good. I think it's good for white if that would happen. Oh, let me reply to that person. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay. Okay. So I think that's what Ding wants to do. And question for Maxilla is how exactly you're going to answer to this. Do you play Rook to E6? Which is probably doable. Is Rook E6 the answer? I wonder. It might be. It may be. Rook E6. I mean, yeah, I guess. So you're stopping knight D6, that's the thing. So you keep the bishop in the game if you're playing with the black pieces here, I suppose. Rook E6, maybe. Okay. Yes, it is black's turn to move. Jack, let me actually refresh the page because something weird. No, or no. Yeah, so black had played actually King E6. If you believe that. What's with this guy's pushing the king in the middle of the board? Very interesting. I thought rook e6 perhaps. King e6. King e6. King e6 does pretty much the same thing. It doesn't allow knight d6. But the question is, would the rook be better than this? Let's do again our little game. I'm gonna toggle on the software again. I really want to investigate if rook e6 could have been another option here for black. I'm not keen to get the black king on the file where the rook is. So let me say e4 is the move of the move. Rook e6 is the fourth line on the engine. It's not the best, but still better than Maksudlu's choice, king e6. So my personal interpretation was rook e6, as I do want to stop knight d6. And it's the fourth line of the engine. The engine says black should push e4 because this is the move that black wanted to play from the very beginning, if I may say that. And yeah, rook e6 still better than king e6. A little bit though, not too much. So again, I wasn't completely off the track, but not the best choice. And that's the last choice, is the fifth line, king e6. Okay. Well, my choices aren't really non-existent, or as long as they are not complete blunders, I'm perfectly happy with. So, we'll see about that one. Shall we have another look? Because we are perusing through this beautiful games. There's way too many games taking place. Let's find Mr. Carlsen here. Where is he? With Fedoseev. Oh, ay. Look at this thing's wild thing. Who was that band? I think it was the Kings. Was it the Kings with the song Wild Thing? F4. Oh, wait a sec, mister. Okay, F4 if black were to accept, which he didn't. If black were to accept, would have been a triple pawn. Incredibly attackable by, I reckon, rook. And I guess it's just very weird. But anyway, F4, what a choice. So Fedoseev didn't even bother. He played king to d7, centralizing the king and obviously taking this square from the white. No, you can't get there. But maybe he wants to move the bishop somewhere. I mean, the bishop on c5. And Magnus played g4. Can you actually believe that? The Trogs. Thank you very much. Oh, man. Why did I put as the kings? Oh, I messed it up. Yeah. It was something from the 60s, right? The Trogs. Not the kings. The kings are the guys with the, please don't let me be misunderstood, the guys with, what else? House of the Rising Sun. House of the Rising Sun. And some other hits. Some other big hits, the Kings. Yeah. Please don't let me be misunderstood. Good one. Good one. Look, you at least you know about Johnny Depp as an actor, which is great in itself. Hey dude, you gotta see the Ninth Gate. The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. Uh, that's a cool little film. Um, it's a film made after a book I think the name of the book was El Club du Mans. I think Club du Mans. I've forgotten the Spanish author. Yeah, but you got to see The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. That's a very cool film. Really cool. Okay, 94. G4. What? Hey, Jonathan. Good to see you, my friend. Kramnik complained about chess base India phone on Gukesh's board. Sorry, you can't have a mobile on the board, right? Or okay, maybe I don't get the details accurately, or maybe I don't get the point. You so yeah, I mean you can't have the mobile on the board, right? Or sorry, I don't know. Well, if they record, they record. Well, if the rules say no mobile, then okay, fine, no mobile. Probably they wanted just the webcam or something. Okay, I guess chess.com India can buy a webcam, right? Or something. Yeah, so I suspect that if no mobile, then no mobile. Get a, but I seriously doubt that Gukesh would attend anything ever. These guys are too serious for this kind of nonsense. But okay, just to for the sake of for the sake of just sticking with the rules, I would have complied anyway. So absolutely, yeah. Well, I don't think it's an issue. And Kramnik, yeah, if it's Suspicious Mind. That was very much famous due to Elvis Presley. You guys know the king of rock and roll, right? Elvis Presley. He had Suspicious Mind. We can go on together with suspicious mind, suspicious mind. So yeah, that's another great, great, great song. Have a look at that one, Elvis Presley, Suspicious Mind. Because you said Kramnik, Suspicious Man, and I remember Suspicious Mind. We can go on together. Suspicious minds. Oh, brother. Okay, cool. All right. When I'm gonna do memes or something. Hey, that's good, Ben. I got a list with title players that I managed to win against. I put it on a very special list on my chess.com archive or library. That's good. Maybe we're gonna have a look at that one. One of these days. One of these days. So f4 takes e5 here. Hmm. This one. Oh, whoa, 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 guys! Have you noticed Magnus Carlsen's clock? It's 1 minute 35. Jack, I think it's just for my very few dear friends. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, okay. I've got like what 15, 20 games collected since like times immemorial, and I might be, I might be playing a title. I might have played the title player that was a little bit tired that day. F takes c5. Knight attacks the bishop. What worries me in this game, so to speak, is that Magnus is a 1 minute 35. That's not that much time available. Okay, knight to e4. Primarily, I think it attacks the bishop on c5, which is a dangerous piece, and threatens to actually capture the bishop and then the pawn itself. I think it's cool. He didn't go for this guy though, because probably there is a very nasty fork, knight f3 checking and taking the bishop. So there was no point to going for this. Yeah, and you know, Jack, Fedoseev is a hell of a player, man. He's really, really crazy strong, this guy as well. So it's just not that easy to play against Vladimir here. Hello, Divine. Thanks for stopping by for our chess stream. I guess you're a chess enthusiast, and I'm happy you have found us, and we have found you, so to speak, in this random universe. Or not so random, I don't know. Depends on the perspective, right? So knight e4 attacks the bishop, and yeah, threatens to just win another. And there is another thing that does. Of course, it doesn't allow the check here, right? But okay, we'll see about that one. I think Magnus wants to get rid of the c5 bishop. And, well, he wants to do very many other things, but that bishop has to disappear. Specifically because if you want to put something on the g like the rook, you got to make sure there's no bishop. So knight e4. No, Jack, he didn't. Let me refresh the page in case that... yeah. So no, he didn't move the rook on h. Oh, wait a second. If you talk about the rook was moved at some point and then placed back on h1. I mean, he played rook h1 to d, then from d to g, then from g to 1. So he did some crazy stuff like this. Having to adjust. He considered he had to adjust the rook. And now I guess he wants to get rid of the bishop. And in order to safely put the rook here. Although, it's still a knight though. I don't know what to say, but maybe then the knight can play this. It's actually quite complicated. But getting rid of the bishop on c5, I think is very beneficial for white to do so. Way too many good games. Hey, Gukesh Abdo actually drew. Believe it or not. Let's go to the very end. Okay, I'm going to tell you something interesting. I know that the engine says it's a dead draw, and I don't doubt it is a draw. It's a draw. But you tell me how two humans playing this position with the pass pawn on the b and many things to happen. Okay, I understand. Maybe it's safer for your national team to actually settle for a draw rather than forcing and losing. I mean, I can understand the psychological things. Totally, absolutely. These guys are incredibly good. Both Nordibek and Gukesh, no doubt about it. No one doubts about it. Probably a future world champion, one of them too. In the coming years, in the coming decade, let's say, in the coming decade. So any of us would have had this with white, with either white or black. Probably you would just keep playing. Or, but you know, Super Grandmasters, you play for your country. You don't just play for yourself individually. You know, that's the thing. You actually play for your national team, and every single point matters. So, okay, probably sometimes it's good and wise to go for a draw. Yeah, yep. So, I guess. Richard Rapport Fabi. Let's see Fabi and Richard here. Fabi. Hey, this is quite a positional, interesting one. So knight to e, rook to g5 now. Ooh, this idea goes very nicely because of the g8. So knight had played to prevent actually the pin. A very uncomfortable pin actually, incredibly uncomfortable. So queen to f now. Notice how queen to f1 still defends the d3. So the black queen actually can't take on d3. And I suspect, what's the intent here? What's the thing? Sort of, okay, it's good to keep the queen here, right? Especially if you want to play some rook to f5 at some point. Queen has to keep an eye on this knight all the time. It's a positional thing. Double battery here, guys. Well, what am I saying? The battery is always at least double. Yeah, it's a delicate one. He tries to defend positionally. He tries to keep everything nice and safe. And also Richard, it's not an easy one. Now Richard amassed double attack on d3. How do you defend d3? Are you going to get the rook from the b file over to d to defend this? I guess you kind of can. So rook b2, rook d2 to defend d3. I guess you sort of can. And you should, right? Unless you got another crazy plan. Of course we're going to look at ding. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Let's go then to Ding Liren. Where is Ding? There he is. There he is. It is indeed very interesting. King to e6. And he didn't move nothing. 4 minutes and 12 sec. He didn't move nothing yet. Would you play this b6? I think he calculates b... No, I don't think so yet. Or maybe he does. No, maybe he doesn't. Actually, this is very delicate. I'm not sure how to best play this. What I do know is that the pawn on e5 is pinned. So you might be attempting to attack this pawn, but how exactly and with what? Well, I guess he can, and also he can lose. Yeah, I guess he definitely can. We can put the engine if it gives you more security in terms of understanding the future. If you placed your money on Magnus, totally. F4, interesting idea. I guess you could consider that one. Mind you, though, they won't take. They can't even take because the pawn is pinned. But what they can do is pushing the pawn forwards. So you're going to play F4, Jonathan. I mean, just looking at your idea, I don't say it's bad. I mean, I'm just thinking it live as it were. So F4, then black's going to push E4, right? Then I don't know. It's very delicate. Then you take. Then I don't know. Maybe F4 after all is practically doable, and maybe you're supposed to do just that. But that requires a little bit of time consuming and calculation. Yeah, I guess you sort of can. Yeah, I guess it's definitely a candidate move. Mm, Hey guys, Ernest, good to see you, my friend. Sorry guys, I'm just alternating. Thanks for following on TikTok. I'm just alternating with the chat. So the chat on the YouTube and Twitch is different from the chat on TikTok, which is not on the same chat box. I actually have to switch the tabs, and that's just not the smoothest. Hey, F4 right on the screen, Jonathan. So you do play like the world champion. You went for you went for attacking the pinned piece, and I'm pretty sure, guys, you remember the famous PP on the PP, which is Mr. Klein's favorite quote. I guess he speaks about it a lot in his lectures on Chess Kid. Put pressure on the pin piece. So that's very easy to remember the PP on the PP. It's one of the supreme chess principles, of course, putting pressure on the pin piece. Yeah, F4. Absolutely. Does it? Well, it's a delicate one. And mind you, Ding Liren is on 2 minutes 30 sec. Maksudlu is on 7 minutes. This is very difficult stuff. And yeah, you can't take, you can push, I guess. If this were to happen, and you take, and this guy is a little bit past, right? But it's very, very, very convoluted. It's not very easy position here. It's very sharp. Bishop c, what? Bishop c5. Oh boy, that's very wild. Okay. Oh yeah, it's absolutely Jack. I agree with you. It is very committed at this stage. It's very, 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 very committed. There's no going back. The bridges have been burnt, my friends. In chess, this happens pretty much all the time. The bridges have been burnt. There is no going back. Or dice have been cast, as per the Latin Roman ancient expression. Who was the guy that said it? Who was the Roman emperor? Pompeius? Who was the guy that said the dice have been cast? The dice. Hold on a sec. There was a famous Roman emperor. The dice have been cast. It's something. Let me refresh the Latin phrase attributed by Suetonius. It's historic to Julius Caesar, for Christ's sake. Julius Caesar, 49 BC, upon crossing what river? Rubicon, northern Italy. Right. And he started the civil war against Pompey. And yeah, and he said the dice has been cast. Yeah, 49 BC, Julius Caesar. Cool. All right. Just a little bit of history details. if we using that expression at least to remember who said it. Yes, divine. Yeah, yeah, totally. F4 definitely brings something here. It's a lot of fire and tension in the center now. And the king, again, when Maksudlu moved the king on e6, also I did say I would never put my king on a file where my opponent's rook is. So you just don't want to put the rook you don't want to put the king in front of your rook when your opponent's rook is just right there, because obviously now, yeah, king d5. It's really courageous. Probably is the move. King d5. Very interesting. Probably is the move. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I guess. King d5. Sure. Yeah, king d5. I like it. I really do like it. You guys are very good and insightful, and it's great you're actually present and you see all this good stuff. That's just great. I think it's a very interesting idea. I like it very much. You guys curious what Magnus does over there? Because by the looks of it, he's on like 45 seconds? I mean, boy, what is this supreme mess here? Whose turn is it? Black's turn to play. Okay, I have to look at the pieces. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, I can count to 3. That's enough for a chess player. That's just enough. But those black pawns are very much isolated, if I may say that. Isolated, isolated, isolated. 3 isolated pawns. The white pawns are connected, but the question is for how long? Because now you can decide if you want, you can just stop chipping at these pawns now. Just take b2, threat this guy. You could take that guy because you attack it twice again. But also white may attack this guy. So maybe he ends up in a draw. I think it's going to be a draw. Yes, Jack. I think the only stuff I guess black can be taken advantage of is the fact that Magnus is on 40 seconds. This guy is the fastest on the planet anyway. I mean, he won the Speed Chess Championship. He got countless of place number one in the Speed Chess Championship anyway. So I don't think Magnus gonna lose his cool. But yes, I think this is one potential strategy you want to look at. Sure, totally. Rook d5, I kind of like it, but on the other hand, you do want to have your rook to just get rid of these guys, right? And black king now moved on f5, which I don't think it's a bad idea because king on f5, my friends, actually defends g5, holds this guy twice together with a knight, and the rook actually now can freely take on b. Yeah, there is the other black pawn, but you can't have them all. I mean, it is what it is. Oh, absolutely. No, there's no doubt about this one. So no one contests Magnus primacy at this very moment in chess history. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. He just proved it time and time and time again. He proved it so many times, then you can't deny. It's undeniable. It is undeniable. Yeah, he proved it so many times. Whatever is to be proved, he did prove it over the board again and again and again. There's a long list of Magnus's chess achievements. So, okay. So king f5 means that king defends g4 from the rook. Interestingly, Fedoseev goes with knight takes h2. Oh, it goes knight h2. See you, Divine. Thanks for being here today. Maybe see you next time. Or, have a quick look on my YouTube videos I've uploaded. If you find them useful, subscribe perhaps. And appreciate, guys, you being here today. Take care, fellas. Cool. All right, so knight took. If bishop takes, rook takes, right? Rook takes, and then I take. What does that mean? Well, I have two passed pawns. That's what it means. Black has two passed pawns. This is very important. This is incredibly important. Thank you very much for the confirmation, Divine. That's cool, man. There you go. Bishop takes. Now, obviously, rook must take, but black has two passed pawns. This is you don't trifle with. I'm not sure if this is still a draw. I mean, exactly as some of you said. Who was it? It was one of you, my friends, that said that actually Fedoseev should be taken advantage of the fact Magnus is on a bullet time condition now. Um, so I don't know. Do you push this guy? There is always check from behind. I mean, you can check the king, but the king gets in front of the pawn. This black pawn is going to be shielding the king. And we're talking about this guy as well, which is very dangerous. Like, super dangerous. Cool stuff. Thank you, Divine. All right, so whose turn is it? Black's turn. I think I would just take rook b2. Wait a second. What's with these things on the screen? Winning rook b2. This thing shouldn't be there. Leave it like this. What the heck? No software. I don't know why those things. So yeah. Does it? There is something Magnus has to be very careful with, and that is this G pawn, which I think is incredibly critical. So rook takes. And I don't know what you do with white. If you play rook f7, king's gonna go e4. And if you do this, I guess king can move f3, defende. It's really not very easy. It's very concerning, the G pawn. This guy. This is the one very pawn, which I don't know what to say. I'm not counting the e5, which also could be problematic. Actually, you only need one pawn to promote in the end. Just one, it's enough. These guys are very much talkable. So rook takes b2, my friends. It just happened. Rook captured b2. White pawn goes to a4. And now this is so instructive. I think this is very good for the classes tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to a chess club in West London, and I think I'm going to take a screenshot for this. I'm going to save the game, and I'm going to share this one with my dear friends over there. And yeah, Jack, that's actually quite an issue here. If you contemplate a bit, you see that the black rook can always make it to A and stay behind the pawn, just sacrificing itself if there is necessary. But this guy and this guy are really concerning. And the king will be supporting them all the time. So actually, it's quite a problem here for Magnus. And Magnus is on 1 minute 30 sec. I guess once you reach the 40 move threshold, he gonna just get now like half an hour or something. He gonna get half an hour extra. Yeah, so my dear friends on TikTok, they left a couple of messages, but I wasn't aware. I missed their messages, and I'm not sure if Ernest is still with us on TikTok. And I'm sorry I didn't see my friends replying. Oof, those tabs I gotta switch to read the messages. Well, if TikTok were to just give me a stream key, I would put the credentials on the Restream software, and I would have all the messages in one place. But TikTok is being very non-responsive, and I absolutely have no clue who am I supposed to be talking with about that Restream key. If TikTok itself doesn't answer, doesn't say nothing, I mean, they couldn't be bothered, can they? If I don't have a million viewers, they can't be bothered, right? They can't be bothered. Okay. A4. And what is Fedoseev gonna do? Let me think. You know what? I think you're just supposed to go. Just push the G pawn. He pushes the G pawn. Black should push the pawn. If rook goes, on G7, you're gonna push it again. And the rook is here to defend, right? And not just that, the king is going to be supporting, and the other pawn is coming down. By the looks of it, I'd say probably black is winning. And now let's play a game. I don't know what's the evaluation gauge saying here. I don't know. I don't know if you're able to stop the G, Jonathan. I'm gonna do an eval and then I'm gonna check with the software. I would say it's a kind of a minus. I think it's a minus, and I think it's like a -1. Okay, minus 0.80, -1. And let's find out the objective truth now. The factual truth given by the software, right? And evaluation gauge, evaluation bar. Well, I'm afraid it's even worse than that, my friends. It's minus 4.89. Black is killing it. I thought it's -1 because I thought that Magnus gonna pull some magic here and something. But there ain't no magic. And Vladimir Fedoseev, I don't think is the kind of guy to getting overly impressed. Um, you can't stop the G successfully and at the same time with the E black pawn. You can't. So looks like objectively black is winning here. And well, he went with rook c7. I don't know what's this. Okay, but this thing allows the king to moving a bit closer. Okay. I think I would have just pushed the pawn, but then that's just me. Okay, let's just toggle off again. Of course he's a human. Totally. Oh yeah. So I'm afraid, Jack. Yeah, I think you are correct. It's either G or the E. You can't stop them both. You can't chase two rabbits at the same time. So for this reason, I think he's gonna have an issue with stopping either G or E pawn, unfortunately. Okay. I just yeah. I hope you do you guys see the name? Oh yeah, you see the players' names and everything. That is so cool. Cool, cool, cool. What is this multi-stream doing here? Oh, actually this is on the other thing. Yeah, well, that's fine. Okay, let's go back. Yeah. So I'm afraid this one gonna be a little bit challenging here for gonna be a little bit challenging. Hey, I think it's the delivery guy. That's the delivery guy. Guys, I might need to go and countersign something at the door. Hold on a sec. Oh, where are we? No worries, I'm gonna leave this thing on. I'm gonna leave this thing on. All right, fellas. Pardon me, my dear friends. I'll be back in a sec. Let's say I think I got the delivery. All right, we got it now, fellas. Okay, we got this one. Just a couple of drinks here. Back in formation. Where were we? Okay, cool. What did the guys do? Did Magnus resign or something? Let me refresh the page just in case we weren't missing some stuff. All right. So let's see. How was it going with this? Yeah, I think that's acceptable. Okay, that's good. Okay. Hey, what's the engine doing on the screen? No way. Right. Did he resign or something? Okay, let me refresh the page just in case. I want to make sure. So this is move number 40. So I reckon now it's half an hour, but that's not going to help him. But I think this is very, very instructive anyway. So I think Magnus sort of going to lose this. But it's instructive to see how exactly black will be converting the position, my friends. And you know something? Let me scroll up and pick up the others. So Gukesh, Abdu, Drew, Erugais is still fighting. Richard Rapport and Fabi is still fighting. This is move number 41. And I guess now you don't see it on the screen, but definitely being move 41, Richard Rapport now is having the half an hour extra for sure. It just didn't update it yet, Aleppo. So yeah, it hasn't been updated yet. It hasn't been updated. Let me see if I can do something with this chat box here. Alert box, chat box. Ah, it's here. Right. Let me actually move it down a bit. I apologize if I'm moving things here. Reduce from this side. Alt button. Whoa. Control button, actually. Oh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Reduce it like this. Okay, that's cool. All right. And this one a little bit. Okay. I think that works better now. Okay, leave it. Doesn't matter. Okay. Lock it again. Let me lock the chat so it doesn't just simply disappear. It goes crazy. Cool. Back to where we were. Okay. Hi there, Ranga. King A7. King A7. It's so that sort of thing. I'm waiting for you to see what you're doing. Right? Well, it's not just what you're doing. You moving the king away from the potential B file, so yeah, I think it's quite positional here. We're gonna see a very positional confrontation. I mean, you've got here a possible Alakine's gun, triple attack on the D3, but on the other hand, you've got a queen and the rook looking at your knight. So in what exactly move order? I don't know why I think. Well, he has to because Jack, frankly, I'm not sure what exactly you've got here. If you're playing with the black pieces, I mean, apart from the D file, I'm really not sure what else you could do. So this is the only thing you could practice here. What else? What other stuff can black do? There's nothing you could do with black. I mean, that's the most viable plan, I guess. It might be some other things, but probably that's the most viable idea. And Peter Lecco fights very bravely here with Wesley So. Rook A1, King E7 being played. You're talking about, okay, the B5. Oh, Jack, thank you very much for your idea. You think that black actually wants to go B5 at some point. It's interesting. He might be takes and takes and takes. Maybe. I'm not sure what to say. Maybe. If you change plans and get a rook on the B7, perhaps. I'm not sure. Probably it's an idea. Yeah. I I understand what you're saying, Aleppo. Yeah, but it's actually not very easy. It's gonna be a tough one for both players, and I think Peter Leko really has to give it his best because that's just not easy choice. There's no easy choice here. Well, you're supposed to play with white. Sorry, Fabi. I apologize. I mixed up. I messed up the players. No, Richard can't play Peter Leko because they both play for the same team. So I messed up the names. I apologize, but you guys understand what I'm meaning. So Knight would be probably happy to get here. So he actually played Rook F2. Fabi played Rook F2 to D2, right? So there's double protection here. And I guess he really does want to go for Knight F5, right? But what's the way to make a big progress here? Do you want to like move around a little bit the knight? I mean, how do you break through? Who's gonna make the breakthrough? Is it white or Richard Rapport? Who's gonna make it through? Who's gonna push the pawns and where? When is black going to push the B5 and when is white going to, I don't know, are you going to push this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. Am I correct when I'm saying that actually white intends to do d4 and black would love to play b5? What do you think, Aleppo and Jack, and the rest of our friends, the few remaining ones? Do you think that this idea might be viable to go d4 for white and b5 for black? Just from a strategic point of view and stuff. And tactically speaking, they're actually always together, very much related. Strategy and tactics. You can't do one without the other. So they're very much together. Yes, as long as we count the attackers and defenders correctly, Jack, I think it's probably definitely to be considered. Because that also invites the diagonal from the white queen and might be demotivating black from pushing b5 from white's point of view. So the d4 move, the e4 is defended by the knight. So that shouldn't be a problem for now. So d4 probably is exploitable. I think it's playable. You get rid of the weakness. Who knows? What might be interesting is after d4, do you reckon maybe black plays this? I'm not sure it works because you're going to play knight f5 straight away. And that attacks the rook with tempo. Actually, it's going to get really, really funny for black. I don't think it's very comfortable. I think it's actually losing. So if d4 and rook d6, it's not really working because knight f5. Yes, Aleppo. I think so very much. So that's not going to work. That is not going to work. Yeah. I like this game very much, and not just this one. Quite a few others. Shall we have a look? I don't know. Probably you're not enjoying it very much, guys. Looks like the Norwegian team doesn't doing very well, fellas. I mean, Ariantari drew with Jan Subeli. So, and Johann Sebastian lost, and Magnus looks like he's about to be losing as well. So apparently, Magnus, if he loses, that will be -2 for this guys for the Norway team. So the Norwegians have a little bit of an issue here with this round number 9 and with these games too, and including Magnus seems to be in a very delicate, uncomfortable thing. The engine says it's losing. We kind of knew he was losing. Let me cover everything. I don't even know if he resigned or not. Because, I mean, I would like to see how exactly Fedoseev converted this win. Because I want to see how he won. But I can't see anything on my screen. Can't see anything just yet. Yeah. Okay, we'll be back. Who else is here? Peter, Lego, this and that. Liren. Okay, let's look at this one. Liren here. Oh, let me fix this message. What can I do to fix? How do... Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I have to do this, don't I? Oh my god, the trains are cancelled. Crazy, the trains are cancelled. Oh, no way. All right. Oh, what the heck. And I really have to send this message. I apologize, guys. I have to deal with some admin stuff. Mm, okay, so yeah, thank you very much, Jack. Yeah, see you, my friend. Cool, cool. Right. All right, guys. Some admin completely unexpected, and I hope things gonna get sorted somehow. All right, where were we? Here. What's going on here? This one is Ding going to be winning this? It's Blackstone though. I don't think Black can afford to losing the h6 pawn. The h6, you can't lose that pawn, can you? So he goes for the other. Now the big question, do you take h6 or do you go and defend rook f3? If you don't take h6 now, you're not going to be taking it. I don't know. Is this a draw or do you think, guys, white is winning? He took h6. He took h6. It is committal. So I guess next one would be just simply rook g6. Making space for the pawn to advance and ready to capture the g5 and things like that. We'll see about that one. Actually, I'm not sure if you should go h8 or you should go g6. I'm not sure. I guess you should go g6? It feels like, but let's find out what Ding decides upon this. Rook g6. Mm-hmm. Right. Tough one here. I kind of think rook g6 should be sort of working, right? You needing one, two, three, four. Four moves to promote. Black needs, in theory, one, two, three, four. Go figure. So both seem to be needing four tempi in order to promote the pawn and get a queen. Both of them. Mm-hmm. Mm. So now I've got a times updated for Magnus and Vladimir Fedoseev here. Okay, that's really instructive to be seen. White played rook g7. Looks for this guy here. Probably you can just push the pawn, right? Or you could push the king. Oops. What I wanted to say is probably king f4. Probably. Well, you could also push the pawn, that is true. But the king also might be very, very much okay. Um, what do you play? Push the pawn or move the king? They kind of... Okay, I'm not sure. That's definitely of interest here. Yeah, it looks like he is in trouble. So he moved the king. Black moved the king. Fedoseev moved the king. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So my dear friends will have to attend some other things, admin, unfortunately. And I'm gonna be seeing you guys. I hopefully hope tomorrow, but tomorrow I got a club. I intend to cycle, and maybe around 6, 7 p.m. ish in the evening, guys, we can cover whatever chess event, or maybe we're gonna watch Jonathan's game. He said he beaten a national master, so I'm very happy to analyze the game he played. So, yeah, send me friend requests, guys, on chess.com or Chess, or both of them, actually. I'm going to be accepting, and then maybe we do some correspondence games. Thank you very much, my friend.